So, Counter-Strike. Yes, everybody has heard of it. It is a Valve IP that is known to be the historic team-based tactical multiplayer shooter throughout history. Alright, we have Counter-Strike 1.5, Counter-Strike Condition Zero, Counter-Strike Source, Counter-Strike Global Offensive, and, that's right, Counter-Strike 2.
Welcome, the Gamer Man's Lounge. Awaken to play.
Now, Counter-Strike 2. Why Counter-Strike 2? That's a great question. However, one, for starters, well, Counter-Strike needed a sequel, and I thought CSGO was the sequel. I guess it's Counter-Strike 2. But, yeah, Counter-Strike needed a Counter-Strike 2. It is the way that it is. But also, Valve needed a game that is not a VR game to become the premiere for the Source 2 engine. And, of course, the perfect candidate would be Counter-Strike 2, since Counter-Strike has been big and huge in the esports scene, and finally, Counter-Strike had been getting its shenanigans with Riot Games deciding to make their very own Counter-Strike, but add in hero shooter shenanigans, Valorant. Okay, there's that. But, however, it's just like Overwatch. How it ripped off Team Fortress 2. It is the way that it is. And Valorant ripped off Counter-Strike. Go fish. It's a revolutionary, influential game franchise. Counter-Strike, Team Fortress. But yeah, Valve finally made a game. Pretty much. And yeah, they have their Source 2 engine. Could we see the Source Filmmaker engine or Source Filmmaker 2 engine where we could have a Source 2 engine filmmaker? That would be perfect. But going back to the topic at hand, Counter-Strike. That's essentially what the sequel for Counter-Strike is. Counter-Strike 2, Source 2, and getting thrown into hugely remade environments from left and right. I'll get into that later in the video. But I do want to go ahead and start off with a few issues. And boy, do I have quite a wonderful present. An elephant in the room. That's right. Well, it's not my present, it was somebody else's present. But, one, Counter-Strike 2 replaces CSGO, meaning CSGO is gone, and taking its place is Counter-Strike 2, which could put people who are able to run Counter-Strike Global Offensive well at a disadvantage. But not too much of a disadvantage, though. The situation here is... I got good news. It's not going to be too demanding. Alright, it's not going to be a huge demanding leap forward, but however, if your computer specs is essentially a GTX 1080 or below or AMD equivalent, I think if I were you, I would be building a new computer. Okay, something to keep in mind about that. But however, of course, they're not going to have too much demanding for specs because, hey, Valve's got their Steam Deck. I mean, and also we have to make it more accessible because it's huge in the esports scene, okay? It is the way that it is. Now, also another thing to keep in mind. What's not carrying over to Counter-Strike 2 is maps and game modes that were present in Counter-Strike Global Offensive. And that's unfortunate. Totally unfortunate. Maybe they can see a return. I hope they can see a return to Counter-Strike 2. That would be great. Even that experimental Battle Royale mode. Ah, yes, the good times where I scored #1 and then having to abruptly end the stream and delete the stream because some family member decided to start his shenanigans on New Year's Day or New Year's Eve. Life's a goddamn nightmare. It was so exhausting. We were watching movies, and I fell asleep. I fainted and fell asleep. It is what it is. But hey, on the bright side, later in the year 2022, I did get to go ahead and watch fully throughout Hereditary. Not bad. But with that totally said, as we go back to the topic at hand, Counter-Strike 2 also has a serious situation involving its offline with bots. Yes, it does offer offline with bots, and that's great. Yes, but I think we should be getting a bot difficulty slider because the bots seem to be... Okay, in one time, they become formidable. You don't underestimate them. But on the other hand, these bots end up in shenanigans, and they just, for some reason, one example would be is that they would crowd up and just keep jumping up and down, up and down, up and down. And yeah, I've ran into that twice. I ran into a AI opponent just jumping up and down and up and down and up and down, trying to get on top of some box or some crate. My bad. Crate. And I had a... It's weird. I think, yeah, maybe some improvements can be needed for the AI opponents. Yeah, let's add in a difficulty slider and let's fix those bots. Especially when people will jump into bot matches to, well, get their practice in so they don't have to worry about playing against other people, or their internet doesn't seem to be doing well and they want formidable bots, and that would be pretty much great. And yeah, I mean, come on, Valve. You have made formidable bots before. How does one Counter-Strike? Great question. However, the game is a multiple round run. It is a very tactical multiple round run because you have to be very, very careful. Because if you die in the round, you're gone. You don't get to respawn until the new round starts. Okay, so go about things very carefully and consider how you survive and how to survive longer. And essentially be careful with how you miss a target, because that can mess you up pretty bad. And however, you have to pretty much react as quicker as you get before the other person gets to react. So, something to keep in mind about. Now, an entire game is split into rounds, up to 16 rounds. And the goal here is for one team to essentially win 8 rounds to win the game. Alright, okay, so how does one win a round? Now, for bomb defusal, you pick 2 sides. Well, it is such the case when it comes to Counter-Strike. It has 2 teams you pick from, the terrorist and the counter-terrorists. Absolutely. Now, for bomb defusal, the terrorists plant the bomb and see to it full detonation or eliminate the opposing team. Okay. However, the counter-terrorist is on the defensive. The counter-terrorist stops the terrorist from planting the bomb. But if the bomb is planted and everybody is eliminated, they still have to defuse that bomb. So essentially, you can ensure victory by eliminating the opposing team before the bomb is planted. But if the bomb is planted, it's not just eliminate the opposing team, it's essentially defuse the bomb. Okay? So with that totally said, there's nobody around. There's probably going to be that one terrorist that pretty much is AFK. But don't worry, you can still defuse the bomb and win the game. So with that totally said, if all terrorists is eliminated, they still have that last hurrah. Meaning, while the counter-terrorists still have to defuse that bomb, it is the way that it is. Now, for hostage rescuing maps, you have the counter-terrorists on the offensive, and the counter-terrorist goal is to save a hostage. That's it. The terrorist, on the other hand, is to stop the terrorists from saving the hostage, meaning eliminating the entire counter-terrorist team. And that's how you win a round. So, hey, not bad. So, victory conditions essentially means taking out opposing teams, and of course, completing the objective, even when there's a few people alive. And yes, you can still win the match and not have any need to eliminate the opposing force when, let's say, the bomb is planted. Just defuse that bomb, you win, or just save that hostage, and round ends, you win. Oh, sorry. But there's another game mode that manages to make the cut, Deathmatch, and it feels more like Deathmatch. Everybody is against each other, and of course it doesn't matter what side you pick, the goal here is to eliminate everyone. And of course you can instantly respawn, because you're not going by round, and the goal of Deathmatch is to essentially score the highest points and make it to the top 3. Now, things you might want to keep in mind about is where you end up spawning. Look around you when you spawn, okay? That is the thing. Now, another thing to keep an eye out is the bonus gun round. I mean, wait, why are we talking about rounds? We're talking about Deathmatch, not the Traditionalist. Now, you do have a set of time, let's say 30 seconds. You have 30 seconds when the prompt shows up to get a hold of that bonus gun, press the button, and you will be spawned the gun, given that gun. And while you basically go ahead and shoot other people with the bonus gun in hand, you get bonus extra points. Hey, not bad. This is a very good moment for when you want to start catch up way more. You know what, let me word that better. Start to catch up way more. However, you do have your casual matchmaking, you do have your going pro matchmaking, but you do have private matchmaking. And of course, the private matchmaking has been simplified. You are given a code where you can just post on some chat for other friends to basically join you, and it will be a private match on Counter-Strike. Hey, not bad. Pretty impressive. Okay. And like I said, there is practice with offline bots. It is what it is. Yes, I already talked about it at the beginning, so there it is. But there is a server browser for community servers because, hey, we're still doing dedicated servers, which is great. That's great news. We're still doing dedicated servers. Fantastic. Oh, my bad. Oh, by the way, you get a in-game income that you have to keep in mind about. So you have to essentially buy your guns from the buy zone. Okay. Not talking about real life money, not trying to, okay? No. We're talking about the in-game money that you do see. You spend money to get new guns. And of course, your selection of guns, pistols, shotties, submachine guns, rifles, sniper rifles. But you do also have your secondaries, such as your decoy grenades, flashbangs, grenades. You also have a taser. And that's right. However, you also have to consider buying your own helmet and armor. However, for casual, it will do that for you. So, and to ensure a faster defusal, you will have to essentially get a defusal kit if you want to defuse things a little bit faster. However, get a defusal kit. Something to keep in mind about. Now, with this income system in mind, you have to be careful with your budget. Now, you will get an increased income when you win a match. But when you lose a match, you still get income. But not much compared to as if you win the match. And of course, you can get paid if you shoot another enemy or complete the objective. Hey, not bad. So it's kind of like how you spend money in real life, but you're not spending money in real life. You're spending in-game cash. In-game cash. So how you go about buying your weapons, you have to consider very carefully when it comes to starting a new round. So that is such the case. However, for deathmatch, I guess you don't have to worry about it. You can have random guns, or if you don't like the random gun you spawn, you can essentially just go to the buy menu and just get stuff. Okay, but remember, you do have a very, very small set of time before the buy time expires, and you're not going to buy anything else. You have to wait until the beginning of the new round, or the next time you respawn if we're talking about deathmatch. It is the way that it is. Now, out of all maps that made the cut, alright, now here we go. Dust 2, it has its own dedicated matchmaking group, where it's Dust 2 all day. That's right. It's pretty crazy. However, for Hostage, only 2. Italy and Office. But, however, for the regular bomb defusal, here's where you will have Nuke, Inferno, Anubis, and Mirage, Overpass, Ancient, and Vertigo. Hey! I remembered all my Counter-Strike 2 maps. That's great. Hey! But do keep in mind some finest new additions. Yes, the new graphics. The new designs for the existing maps. They went all out when it comes to redesigning the levels. It's familiar, but it's redesigned and redecorated amazingly. On top of the amazing Source 2 graphics. Hey, that's impressive. Okay. But not just that, there is some additional things, environmental additions. You do have how the smoke grenades, or smoke from smoke grenades, are more interactive than ever. You can blow a hole through the smoke. You can clear the smoke by exploding a grenade in the middle of the smoke. And it's very insane how that works. And also, the water is way more improved than ever, and that's amazing. Very amazing. And not only that, oh boy, the sound presentation has hugely improved. It's amazing. And the fact that your loot can carry over to Counter-Strike 2 from Counter-Strike Go, that's fantastic. Hell yeah. Okay, definitely. Oh, sorry about the off-camera thumbs up. However, what's also amazing here is to essentially anonymize other player names and have them replaced with alternate simplistic names. So that way, you don't have to worry about, for those of you who are kinda not comfortable with sharing other players' usernames in multiplayer matches, this is a perfect idea. This is a there is more streamer-friendly approaches here. How you can mute everybody by default except for friends. And that's getting very interesting. These settings, these streamer-friendly settings, or content creator-friendly settings, that's fantastic. Yo. Nice. Oh, did I already mention about the loot from CSGO carrying over to Counter-Strike 2? Yeah, your loot can carry over to... Yeah, already... Okay, sweet. Okay, so, all in all, Counter-Strike 2, not perfect compared to the previous installments, and it does miss out on a lot compared to Counter-Strike Global Offensive. But, however, the good part is Counter-Strike 2 is still a fun, fantastic game. It's fantastic, whether you want to play through the regular game modes or you want to go deathmatching. It's a good time when it comes to Counter-Strike 2, and good times are going to be had. Just like in the CSGO days. Okay, that sounds like a very bold statement, but Counter-Strike 2 is a huge new step up. Moving over to the Source 2 engine, hugely redesigning, having more interactive stuff in the environment, such as the smoke grenades. It's amazing. And of course, improved sound presentation, improved visual presentation, and not only that, improved chat stuff, including improved voice chat. Voice chat in Counter-Strike 2 seems to be more, shall we say, Discord quality. And that totally said, Counter-Strike 2 is also a free-to-play game, so you are free to go ahead and try that game out. And if you haven't tried out any Counter-Strike game, or you haven't tried out Counter-Strike 2, you owe it to yourself to try out Counter-Strike 2. Even though the decision about going to Counter-Strike 2 and essentially yoinking Counter-Strike Global Offensive out of existence, that's a controversial decision. Hey, Counter-Strike 2 is still a great time. And with that totally said, hey, I would recommend you give this game a download. And with that totally said, that is all, and I will be looking forward to you in the next video. Peace out.